All right, welcome you to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about my five favorite nonfiction books. I've talked about these books a lot on this channel, and this is just a way to document some of that thinking. Again, thank you for your support. We've seen more viewers, more people subscribe to the channel recently, and your support does mean a lot. So, in one line, I'll tell you why I like these five books. The first book I want to talk about is Born to Run. I have my physical copy right here. It's a book that really got me in love with reading. This book showed me that sports can be a metaphor for life. Um, it really talks about the art of long distance running, and that's something I picked up this year, and it's something I've been passionate about for a very long time. But in a marathon you cannot be running fast all the time. There are times when you run fast, there are times when you run slow, but you really need to develop an understanding of your capacity and run at the pace that's most comfortable for you. And at the end of the day, you're running your own race. And this also shows me how running was a really human activity that humans have practiced in different ways for a really long time, whether it was for hunting or moving from one place to another. And these days we have races that are called ultra marathons, where people run um, 100 kilometers in one single setting. So this book showed me that sports is a metaphor for life. Chasing New Horizons is the second book I'd like to talk about. It's a book that was written by Alan Stern and David Grinspoon, and it basically tells you about the first human mission, or the first mission to Pluto. This was the first time a spacecraft went close to the planet of Pluto, and I think this particular book was recommended to me by a dear friend, Jatin Mehta, who writes about space. And he told me that this book would tell you so much about the journey of how space missions are conducted. There are years and years of effort, and the tiniest thing going wrong can damage a spacecraft worth millions and millions of dollars. So it really showed me how you can pay attention to the smallest details, but also how humans have always had a sense of wonder for the world beyond this planet. And that's something that we must not stop doing. We must continue to explore other planets and other galaxies to see if there are ways to build our connection to the world outside our planet. The next book that I want to talk about is A Short History of Nearly Everything. This is a book by Bill Bryson that showed me that science is for everyone. You can understand the impact and the importance of science in your life as a human being. It's not something that you need special knowledge in physics, chemistry, or biology to understand. And I think the beauty of Bryson's writing is that he makes complex ideas really accessible, and I think good teachers really do that. And I think Bill Bryson is an excellent writer. I really enjoy his travel writing, but if I had to give someone one book, it would be this particular book. And because it opens you up to so many powerful ideas about what it means to be human and how we have come a long way in the last 100 to 200 years, and even before. So, this is the book I would gift the most, A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. The next book is called The History of Education in Modern India. I have a physical copy of this book. It's a book by Suresh Chandra Ghosh, and it talks about how education policy evolved in India from 1757 to 1998. Now, why do I like this book? Because for a really long time, I've always been interested in how educational institutions have come to be. I've been an educator for the last 10 years, and working so closely with educational institutions as a teacher, as a researcher, showed me that um, this is not something you can change at an individual level. It's a systemic issue. You have to understand policy, you have to understand administration, you have to understand implementation in the classroom, you have to understand education research, and all of it comes together in very unique, subjective ways in a particular context. For instance, something that will work in the US may not work in India, or something that will work in Colombia may not work in Sri Lanka. And that's something that education policy really helps you understand. So this particular book showed me how you can study education policy and really understand how policy trickles down to practices in the classroom. And it really helped strengthen my thinking as an educator. So that's my fourth favorite nonfiction book. And the final book that I want to talk about is this amazing book by Simon Sebag Montefiore about the Romanovs, which was a family that ruled over Russia for over 300 years. The Romanov dynasty um, was the most complex group of emperors and empresses that ruled over Russia for over 300 years. And it talks about the different characters that were in that family, how they became rulers. And I think this is such an interesting historical nonfiction book. You understand so much about how power that is centralized in a few hands can be misused or used positively. And it shows you that power can corrupt, but power can also empower and can create so much positive change. And I think it also gets you really interested in the idea of history and how history is filled with stories of different characters. And to really understand that, you need to go back to a time when you need to understand history chronologically, because you can criticize one part of history and say that why is this happening today, but sometimes this particular incident has roots in an event in the past. And that's what this really got me curious about, is how to develop my historical thinking and critical analysis skills. So these are my five favorite nonfiction books: Born to Run, Chasing New Horizons, A Short History of Nearly Everything, The History of Modern Education in India, or The History of Education in Modern India, and The Romanovs. And I hope you can leave some comments in the chat for this video, telling me about your favorite nonfiction books. And I will try reviewing and reading those books and leaving reviews on this blog. I really appreciate your support. And please, please do subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to me as a creator. And that's my video. Thank you.